Good evening, all of you. Shri Sandeep Pathak, a distinguished member of the Rajya Sabha, a man from academics, professor at the IIT Delhi, am I right? And with enormous potential which I witness in Rajya Sabha whenever there is session around. Shri P.C. Modi, Secretary General Rajya Sabha, principal architect of this program right from the beginning, along with his secretary who is not present at the moment being out of the country, Shri Rajit Punhane. He has been CBDT chairman for the longest tenure in recent times and Secretary General of Rajya Sabha since 2021, second half. A 1982 batch Indian Revenue Service officer. Shri Sunil Kumar Gupta, Secretary to Vice President. A 1987 batch Indian Administrative Service officer, one of the senior most in the country, and alumnus of IIT Kanpur. We have here distinguished officials from the Secretariat who have given their very best in making your program. You are the ultimate judge of it. Dr. Vandana Kumar. Dr. Vandana Kumar is Additional Secretary, Indian Audits and Accounts, Indian Defense and Accounts Service, 1992. Som Shekhar, another Additional Secretary, is from the Rajya Sabha Secretariat, right from the beginning. Then we have Grima Jain, a member of the Indian Revenue Service, 1996, am I right? Sumant Narayan, Indian Audits and Accounts Service, 2000. Simple, but has been to Harvard. Yet simple. Kushal Pathak from Indian Postal Service, batch, another simple person. He is from systems. You would have frequently come across Rosie Silo. She carries burden on her shoulders to take care of things which may not be visible to you. Ratan Sahu looks like a student. He is a director here. Shri P.C. Modi has reflected about the program. I wouldn't advert to that area at all now. But this is the 5th edition of season number 1 and the last one of season number 1. Now we'll have season 2. And season 2 will be qualitatively little more improved because of the inputs we have secured from the beneficiaries. This group 2 will give its inputs to us. We will diversify it. We will make it more contemporaneously relevant. Try to give you the fresh ones by way of input and insight into new areas and new challenges. But I'll share some of these with you. But before I do that, I strongly commend that season 1 participants remain well connected with one another. Be thoroughly involved with the platform, and that I can assure you over the years will sustain you, will make your life easier, and you will have all India perspective. For a simple premise, you are drawn from varied backgrounds, varied regions, and therefore reflect unity in diversity. We would greatly appreciate that on this platform, which will be overlooked by functionaries of Rajya Sabha, you will be making your inputs that are in public interest, inputs that interest you but are relevant, and try to elevate that platform to a level where if a third person has an occasion to go through it, he comes to know that participants of season number 1 define talent of youth of the country, their passion, their missionary zeal, and their commitment. We are living in times where challenges are enormous, so are the opportunities. You have seen in last decade exponential economic upsurge, phenomenal infrastructure growth, deep digitization, technology penetration, transparency and accountability being taken care of by technological aspect of service delivery, people-centric policies reaching out those in the last line. And therefore, people of the country have tasted development as never before. And the nation in last decade has been one of the nations at the peak in the world that has seen such kind of rise. This has given a great challenge because Bharat today is the most aspirational nation in the world. When the nation is aspirational, it is on two counts. One, there is ecosystem of hope and possibility. There is an ecosystem that allows you to fully expand your energy, exploit your potential, realize your dreams and ambitions. And therefore, you would want always more from the government. This can lead to restlessness, and therefore, a bounden duty of all of us to generate an atmosphere of awareness that for our youth today, the opportunity basket is ever expanding. It is much beyond the silos to which we are exposed. We are confining by and large to the groove of government jobs. But opportunities now lie elsewhere, and they are changing by every moment. We never had opportunities earlier in blue economy, in space economy, with respect to disruptive technologies, application of technology. Just go to any village and you'll find how diversified has become service delivery. If someone wants a railway ticket, an air ticket, apply for a passport, there will be someone in the village who will immediately hand over. If one has to pay a bill, lines have disappeared. All these dramatic developments are defining what India today is. And therefore, I would be venturing into a difficult terrain of making some suggestions for your consideration. With full expectation and optimism that you will bear these always in mind. Commit to nationalism should never be compromised. No interest whatsoever, and whatever be the compelling circumstances, however compulsive and challenging the situation may be, national interest can never take backstage. Personal, political, partisan interest has to be subservient to national interest. Commitment to national interest is not optional. It is fundamental to our being Indians. As Indians, you will have to get into the right mindset. We are a unique nation. We are a nation with a history that no other country can claim. Civilizational ethos and essence. We have been historically global epicenter of knowledge and wisdom. Cultural confluence of the world. If we look into our treasures, Vedas, Upanishads, Purans, our epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Gita. And if you really wish to traverse our civilizational journey over 5,000 years, carefully go through the Indian Constitution and you will find 22 miniatures. Each miniature defines our wealth. Satyamev Jayate, Harappan, Mohenjo-daro seal, the bull, Gurukul, and when we come to fundamental rights, ए धर्म पर धर्म की विजय, माँ सीता, Ram and Lakshman ji coming back to Ayodhya after overtaking darkness, spreading light. When we go to directive principles, we have Krishna giving discourse to Arjun at Kurukshetra, how one should conduct when it is call of duty. When we go further, Buddhism, Jainism, down the line we will have Shivaji, Rani ki Jhansi. Further we will have Netaji Subhas, Gandhiji. Go through that. You will get a peep of it. You must have been enlightened if you have happened to look at the QR code while having a look at the new building of the Parliament. And therefore, take commitment to nationalism as your dharma. Let Bharatiyata define us. I say so because there are forces inimical to Bharat. And these are sinister forces, they are dangerous forces that have total distaste and dislike for the very concept of Bharat. You have to be extremely vigilant. You, the youth of the country, being the most vital stakeholders in governance, in democracy, are also enjoined to carry out your constitutional ordainment. Framers of our constitution had bestowed fundamental rights on all citizens. But I need to enter into a brief caveat. Fundamental rights have to be earned. And fundamental rights are best earned when you perform your fundamental duties. I beseech all of you to carefully go through the fundamental duties that are in the Indian Constitution in Part 4, Capital A. Once you will go through those fundamental duties, you will realize the import of those duties and also realize every individual can make contribution. It does not require collective working. If all citizens, 1.4 billion, including infants and children, are imbibed with that spirit, our nation will be known for discipline and decorum we look for at the moment. Our transformation has to take place on certain fundamentals. Each of you need to focus on 5 fundamentals. 1, social harmony is vital. It must transcend all differences. We must nurture it. We must ensure it blossoms, because social harmony will help us evolve national unity. And national unity is fundamental to sustain the growth trajectory of the nation. Family enlightenment. Believe in your family, your parents, your grandparents, your neighbors, your neighborhood. We are a different kind of a society. A strong feeling for neighborhood. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That principle has to start from the family being a unit, neighborhood being a unit. You have to nurture it. Environmental protection. Go to our religious functions. Go to our traditions. How we find in our epics concern being bestowed on environment, flora, fauna. How there was concern for every living being. The planet is not captive of human beings alone. Lack of concern for environment, reckless exploitation for personal gain, discarding the age-old principle of trusteeship has brought us to this cliff-hanging situation. We are at the cusp of a disaster. Climate change menace, and therefore you have to make your contributions. Prime Minister's clarion call for Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam has got into Jan Andolan. Make sure not only you do it, you persuade everyone you come across to do it, and then the sapling plantation is not the end of it. You have to nurture it, ensure it. Or Ek Ped is not a limitation, it's a beginning. Self-desi and self-reliance are fundamental to Atmanirbhar Bharat. Every individual can make contribution by focusing on being vocal about local. Just imagine the enormous benefit our foreign exchange will have if we do not import avoidable items. Why should a nation import items that are available in the country? When we do that, not only we create a hole in our foreign exchange, we deprive our own people of work. Our entrepreneurs are stressed, and we do it for some fiscal gain. But those who do it for fiscal gain in industry, trade, commerce and business are catered by you, catered by me, catered by the people. If we become vigilant, we are fully alive to the dangers that it has, things will be very different, I am sure about it. And civic duties. Just imagine, we have highways, number of highways, multi-lane highways, still discipline on road. is not what it should be. It is not there. We as a nation will have to develop a deep sense of commitment to discipline and decorous behavior. Once that is done, the nation will be very different. Just imagine how quickly we challenge public order. If someone gets a summon from a court, why should people be on the street? Why should we agitate? We are most vibrant, functional democracy with independent judiciary. But people take to streets. Responsible people, people in position. Why? Why should we challenge public order? You as individuals have to raise your voice. Social media has given you enough power. The moment you name and shame those who do it, ask questions, searching questions from anyone, because no one is above scrutiny. In democracy, all are equal. The surest way to bring down a person or an institution is to give the person or institution immunity from scrutiny or probe. Ask tough questions. How worrisome, how alarming it is that in our country public property is destroyed. We witness it. Make the rogue elements pay through their nose. In some states, this is happening with rewarding results. That has resulted in good law and order. Destroying our own property. It takes time, money, effort to build institutions. And people pick up courage to be enemies of their own nation. We should have no mercy or sympathy for such rogue elements. And youth therefore have to converge on a thought process to make it a movement. Everyone has some responsibility to discharge. I have, both as Vice President and Chairman Rajya Sabha. It is my duty to ensure the temple of democracy is a place of debate, dialogue, and deliberation. And if it is not so, which it is not at the moment, I can share it with you. Disruption and disturbance have become order of the day. When disorder becomes order of the day, then there must be public response to that. You elect public representatives to engage into certain constitutional functions. If they keep away from those functions, surely this can neither be overlooked nor countenanced. Much before we became an independent country, our country was in existence with a long history and ethos. Anantvad, dialogue, discourse, respect to the other point of view was our hallmark. I am right and others are wrong. This ahem and this ahankar has no place in any democracy. And therefore, I beseech you to be extremely sensitive when these challenges, public order, destruction of public property, compromise of nationalism, ridiculing institutions. The challenges can be met once there is change of mindset. The mindset has to be fired and fueled by patriotic fervor, spirit of nationalism, I would hint at certain changes that are erupting dangerously because our mindset is to overlook dangers. We are having ostrich kind of stance. We can no longer afford to do that. Our institutions are facing a structured tint of facet of wokeism. Our constitutional functionaries are sought to be ridiculed. It is time for you to reflect. Be it institution of the president, or the vice president, or the prime minister. These are not political posts. These are our institutions. People fail to show even minimum respect. My heart bleeds when President of the country, the first ever tribal woman to hold that high office, is shamed, ridiculed. Even when she performs her constitutional duty in the joint session of parliament. Her tribal status becomes a cause of concern when their tent is put in public domain. A lady of sterling worth, track record of dedicated service as a legislator, as a minister, as a governor, and now President of India. A Prime Minister, after 6 decades for the first time, after 6 decades, continually in office for the 3rd term. Anything and everything can be said. We must not bear with it. I wouldn't come to my position. But there are some unforgettable moments of pain when in the sacred premises of Parliament, a mimicry is videographed by a person who holds responsible political position. Sometimes we can overlook, but we can never forget. We forgive for a simple reason, that's our culture. So please, believe in our institutions because they are very strong. Be it our election commission or our judiciary. Election commission is wrong when you lose, it is right when you win. What kind of formula we have? Let us be judgmental, but on rational premise. Our judgment must have a rationale that can be subject to deep analysis. The country, young friends, is facing a great challenge because we have in millions illegal migrants amongst us. They are making demand on our workforce because they are working, depriving our people of work, education facilities, health facilities, government facilities like Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. This infiltration is no less than invasion. Just imagine millions of illegal migrants in the country. How severely our security is compromised. The entire world at the moment has become serious about it. we work up. When under the law of some country, some of our own people who were misguided, who were cheated, who were lured into going abroad through the wrong means, come back here. But we don't look at the ground under our feet. We are on quicksand. This poem is ticking for you. I am talking on mindset. So generate a mindset. Why should they be here? Then these change our demographic landscape. They electorally manipulate us. They start defining democracy. Surely we can't be yielding on such a challenging scenario. It is bounden duty of every Indian to have a point of view, to express that point of view, to have a dialogue about it, and call upon the authorities concerned to generate a pressure. This has to end. Whenever there is a talk, something which is in the Constitution, politics enters, Uniform Civil Code is a constitutional ornament. Founding fathers of the Constitution had put it under Article 44 of the Directive Principles. What's wrong with that? And therefore, let me tell you, I do not know what is the severity of the earthquake that may befall us, but tremors are being already felt. In the country there is emergence of specified areas where elections have ceased to have any meaning at the moment. We cannot afford this kind of challenge to our civilization. Our civilization was bred 1200 years ago. Nalanda was blossoming, prospering, a center of knowledge and wisdom. Convergence of scholars from all over the world came. They benefited and they benefited us. Marauders came. Invaders came recklessly, with extreme brutality, barbarity, made an effort to destroy our culture, our civilization, our religious places. And so was the perversion. Destroy our religious place of their own. Patience and tolerance are virtues, but not at the cost of nationalism. You young people have to be alert. Europe is witnessing situations. Some countries are witnessing situations. We look calm, but this calm is before a storm. Let us contain that storm. Let us puncture the balloon of storm, and that can be done only when people change their mindset, share their concern with everyone, generate an opinion and put their foot down. I'm sure you'll bear that in mind. The latest that has come as a shocking expose is by President of the United States. I'm sure you all are aware of what he said. That fiscal muscle was used, funds were pumped in, to doctor and manipulate our democratic result. He has gone to the extent of saying, I am not giving my thought on it, that someone else was sought to be elected. To elect is the right only of Indian people. Anyone doctoring or manipulating that process is undermining our democratic values, is subverting our democracy, in the process bringing us under servitude, subservience. I therefore from this platform call upon everyone. Time has come to thoroughly get into this malaise, this political COVID infiltrated in our society to destroy our democracy. All those involved in this sinister activity, who have benefited out of this structured pernicious strategy, must be shamed and brought to book, fully exposed. Any leniency on this count will proliferate sleeper cells that have potential to be ignited when there is electoral battle. I do not say more on the issue because you all are discerning minds and know about it. I conclude, never have tension, never have stress. You are citizens of a country that has unparalleled history, civilization. You can take pride in your legacy. There are opportunities aplenty. You can avail them. It is time for you to fully benefit out of the atmosphere of hope and possibility. And it is time to ensure that our march to Viksit Bharat is fast-tracked and that our economy takes greater jump. And that when people think otherwise, out of motivations or ignorance, it is bounden duty of our youth to enlighten them, to hand over them. Ultimately, the only recourse which our civilization teaches us is to reform the misguided. Be such a soul in the family, in the society, or in the country. I wish you great luck in your venture. This was not a course. This was only to activate you. You will handhold yourselves now and be fully equipped. If some member of parliament seeks to benefit out of your expertise, to benefit. Be in touch. Thank you so much. God bless you.